try to explain what happened. Blue went to the tannery. They're just converting their hides to leather. This is pretty lame, but they didn't have a way to get shipping or anything like that out. And there's also the realization in their mind, you know, worst comes to worst, this is an outlet for everyone. The last turn of the game, after the last production, well, we can just all go to the same building to do stuff. There's no limitation. So dumping all your goods is possible here. It may not be as valuable as dumping most of your goods through the shipping line, also available to everyone. It's just that there's no real hurry unless you want to do multiple shipping attempts. But there is a pressure when you're building up tons of goods like this to actually, you know, collect the cash for them somehow. Okay, so Red is next. Red went to the hardware store just to fill out. They needed an extra iron to be able to build an iron ship. Or 2 steel ships, right? No, 1 steel ship. It takes 2 steel ships. It just takes a lot of energy to make iron into steel. Green over here built, I think the second iron ship, and they're up to 3 shipping capacity now. Purple built what may be an objectionable card to some. It's the church. A lot of victory points. Seemed like a good idea, but here's my gripe about the church, is this: it takes bread and fishes and creates more bread and fishes. I guess it's fine, you know, most people will take it in a lighthearted manner, but I can see some actually being quite objecting to, you know, what of Christ's miracles being represented as always possible in the church. I can see that rubbing some people wrong. Obviously, it's not going to matter to me, but so how should I speak about it? You know, it's like me talking about the Washington Redskins. I don't know, but it sounds like it might bug someone, and I can understand it. White went to their own wharf, dropped a Coke in. They're making their wharf valuable so other people will visit there, as opposed to Red, who was sitting on theirs, you know, for too long, perhaps. And they ended up building the first of the steel ships, and boy, this is a nice, valuable one. And you can see nice food production. It's not going to matter for food production. The big key here is, can we get a shipping, you know, a good delivery? This sucker is going to carry 4 goods, so I can move 6 goods at once. That may be my next move if I've got an opening there. That throws us around the table, so let's finish the last 2 up in real time, just to keep the number of videos down. Blue would love to get more boats, and they don't really have a capability for that. So I don't want to go to the abattoir right now. Pile of clay sitting around. Why don't I just pick that shit up, eh? That looks like I could make some money off of it. I don't know. Where can I sell bricks? That's kind of the problem. I don't have a good way of getting rid of bricks. I have a good way. Now, when I make bricks, I get some cash for that directly. But on the other hand, I got a way of selling bread. I think. I seem to remember someplace bought bread. Maybe I'm mistaken. Where's the inn? Does not. The inn buys meat. The clothing industry buys my leather and hides that I'm planning on turning. This converts, but that's not terribly useful. Bread is another thing that makes money when I make it. And both have a 1 feeding need. I'm just really looking at how much can I make, because I think my points are stocked in the buildings right now. And I have no idea how well anyone's doing. Maybe I can build something. The bank might be cool. I don't have a steel. I don't have a bunch of bricks. I'll grab the clay. We'll see where we can get with this. I don't want to figure out if I even can do it. You know, it's just kind of at that point in the game. If I was playing my own power, I might be trying to figure out, well, can I at least do this mission that I've assigned myself? Nah. All right, let's look for another one I can, because I'm giving up. I can't find anything, but lots and lots of choices for red here, none of which look terribly good. Might as well go to the steel mills, get some more valuable. By the way, we have this new boat that's just tons and tons of victory points. Steel mill sounds good. That's going to cost me... Uh-oh, maybe it doesn't sound good, because I got to eat up my coke for that. That's my energy source. That's going to cost me 5 per iron. I could build a bunch of steel. As it is, I can only build 1 iron ship. And steel ships are worth more. I'm going to do this anyway. That's going to allow me to convert 2. I got to pay 2 gold for this. Ooh, I can pay off the loan at any time. I'm paying it off right now. I can't actually do it in the middle of his action, but which is what I'm doing. But that's just more for me to remember, and it's not going to affect anything. It's just not, it's more of a consideration issue. You don't want to bust up somebody's turn that way. Okay, so I spent the energy and I'm turning 2. Do I want to spend more energy? This is the real question, because I'm low on energy, but it takes, you know, a lot less energy than my coke. I'm gonna, to do other things, I'm gonna turn it all into steel. I just think that's more valuable. And these counters flipping over, doing whatever they do. I haven't been spending money to buy things, because the things that I can buy don't look like they're terribly valuable to anyone. You know, like paying 40 bucks for the bank is clearly not worth it. But some of these others up here, I'm just not seeing them turning around nicely, except for maybe the storehouse at 10 bucks. These are a half buck per counter, so if you have a lot of unfinished goods, they're better than using the bridge to deliver it into the rest of France. Now we're over here. There is going to be a harvest, and people owe 6 food each. We'll see what kind of taxation that puts on them. I wonder if maybe I forgot to flip a card and that got me caught. So for example, this was 19. 18 would have been player 5. No, that didn't fix it either, so I don't know. We got another even, worse luxury liner, which goes on top. That bones the price of the luxury liners. Now the second one's going to get the more points. If you could have rushed to the first one, that would have been great. Now you can't. I was wrong about that loan. I decided not to take it because, hey, I didn't have enough food. And that would have been something easy enough to calculate. So I could reverse that real quick right there. Looks like we're jumping into another round here. I don't know what's on the other side of this. Another even cheaper luxury liner. And then we have one final round after that. Not a round, one final action for each player. And those can kind of be simultaneous. Everybody's just maximizing their score. Nobody can bone each other. Nobody can do anything to each other. Go around the board and see what our sequences are. Green, what did they do? Green did a shipping. About 20 bucks worth of leather. Just one big load with what, you know, 2.5. You don't worry about this value. It's the ships produce a certain amount. First guy in there, and he blocks everybody else out for this turn. Purple, well, after seeing that, he obviously had to build more ship, but he didn't build a shipping ship because he doesn't have a lot of materials and commodities. He bought a luxury liner for the 34 victory points. And he's set up to buy another one. He could get the 38.1 if no one else grabs it. If someone does, well, he's got the steel ship, or he can wait on this one. See if he can get that. Remember, he could finish the game by going to a wharf and building a luxury liner if he wanted. Unfortunately, he didn't have money for his interest, so he had to take out another loan. So he may have the desire to go to court and contest some of those loans. Over here, who do we got? That is White. White went... He's the hardest one. He made like 28 bucks off of clothing. Nice turn of money. We're seeing big hunks of money beginning to fall now. That's something we hadn't been seeing all game. Nobody could crank money. Well, nobody really wanted to because they're busy building up so that they can at the very end. So obviously now they can. And this is an interesting way to crank money, isn't it? It's only $6 though. That's the problem. It doesn't seem effective enough. If it didn't have such a low limit, maybe if you had huge amounts. Okay. Then we get around to Blue, who went to the tannery and built themselves... No, they didn't go to the tannery. They grabbed themselves a bunch of wood so they have energy. And that kind of screwed Red. Red needed energy. Well, in order to get energy, Red went and bought themselves some Coke at the Emporium. A lot of money, a lot of victory points spent into that. I don't know if it's going to work out well, but they feel like they need more shipping to deliver their goods at the end of the game. And that looks like the last guy who went. So let's go over here. That's green. I gotta find green. I see their disc. That doesn't help me. I don't have anything to remind me who green is. Green has decent ships. I can't go back in the shipping. I could sit there and kind of hose people, but I don't terribly want to do that. But I'm kind of curious what I might be able to bring shipping wise. So bread's only worth $3 each. That's almost as good as leather, and I could produce a lot of bread. So let's go find us a bakery. Bakery's kind of cool, but it uses energy. I have Coke. I should be able to do this. Coke, however, also sells at... no, I have coal. I could build Coke. Coal sells at $3 each. Coke at $5 each. Where's the cokery? I could use the cokery for free. It would produce me more. You know, I think I'm better off. I'm not going to figure it out. I'm better off going to the cokery, I think, because it's my own thing. I convert it for free, and I get 3 quick bucks as well. And then that pushes purple over here. Who gets a brown? And, you know, there's $5 there. That's my loans, but I'd like to clear those loans out before I have to pay them again. And that's only $6. Yeah, but more if I don't get them cleared. Yeah, I better do something about them. So we'll go to court. No cost for going to court. I get rid of one of these, and I get 2 more bucks. I don't have a lot of food, so paying my loan off probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Because I'm not going to meet my feeding requirements with only one little wooden ship and 1 fish. I could have grabbed a bunch of fish. That might be better. I don't know. I can't think straight. Okay. And now we're on what really is, this is the end of the game. It looks like I'm going to end up paying 7 on that loan if I can't come up with a lot of money. Oh well. So yeah, we're going to be eating fish, and there's going to be a new, weaker, less valuable luxury liner available. So that's really about it, and go to that. Okay, so now we're on the final stage, and each person takes out just a main action. Exactly 1 more turn. I don't know if more stuff is produced. It seems to me that it is, because otherwise that would be your main action, right? You could grab stuff, so why not? Okay. It is also important to do it in order, not just because of the stuff that's produced, but because, for example, the Arts Center is based on other people's discs being present in your territory. So blue is only going to get one more person going into maybe the shipping line at this point. So let's take a look at white. They take a wood and a cow. There was no harvest on this last one, I assume. Yeah. There's a $5 minimum. If I can't make $5, no reason for me to play. You know, no reason for me to have to scoop that up. But I'm sure I can make $5, I say, or more. Where's my disc? Is over. It doesn't matter where my disc is. I can put it wherever I like. I can only ship 6 goods if I go to the shipping line. That would include 2 steel, which is 16. And the 4 others are probably going to be about $3, so that's like 28 victory points. The luxury liner looks like it may be worth more to me if I have the energy to run it. So can I get to, you know, I don't think I have anything that's going to make more than that. Can I get to a wharf? I own a wharf. Now I don't really care too much about food, but maybe somebody can give me cash instead of food. So I'm gonna throw myself over here and pay 2 food. Here, have some meat. In order to build that, and I'm gonna build the first luxury liner. Now the problem with this is I give somebody else an 8-point bonus on the luxury liner. If I sent these, it's 28. You know what? The hell with that. No, I'm not doing that, because I'm giving someone else too much of an advantage. So I'm going to go to the... Actually, it doesn't matter which one I go to. I don't have to give the food. I'm going to go here. I'll pay food, of course, because food is valueless at the end of the game, as is everything else. And I'll figure out my shipping, which works out to be... Let's see. 2 steel, I said, is going to be 16. What's my next highest valued thing? Well, cows are pretty valuable at 3. I think they'll be my next. So we'll send 4 cows as well. 12 sounds like $28. And we're going to be doing this with everyone. I have tons of time on this video, but I really don't want to be doing the calculations aloud. I may drop in and tell you if somebody gets something really big, but 28 sounds about like what we're looking at for this turn. We're looking at 38 is going to be the big drop. If somebody buys this first luxury liner, the second one at 38 becomes really worthwhile. So there's going to be a big disincentive to pick that first one up. So blue went over to the bridge and was able to make a big $21. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Red had to take out a loan to pay for the shipping line access. $45 off all this steel. I wouldn't have been able to build more than 1 boat, so, and the coke, and of course a moo cow. But since I had to take out a loan, now I have to repay that loan. It only cost me an extra $1 to take out a very short-term loan. Ooh, but I landed on the interest space. That means this guy who still has a long-term loan has to do something about it. I'll back if there's any others of great interest. And while I don't have any real desire to optimize over all the cards, green got about 21 running shipping, I believe. Just selling crap there. They had some decent stuff, but nothing too fantastic. Over here I had decent stuff, but I didn't have enough ships, so I had to buy the other luxury liner. In order to get the food for that, I had to take out another loan. And now I'm in a position where, wow, my loans are going to cost me $14. I could dump my wooden ship for $2. That'll get me, this is the kind of optimization I don't mind doing because it's all in front of me. It's all very simple. I could get $5 then, pay off one of my loans, and I'd be at -7, but I've just given up 7 victory points, which is about equal. Is there a way for me to get rid of both loans? Well, let's say I gave up the charcoal kiln. That would only give me $4. That wouldn't help. This would give me $7. That would clear out the 10. I could get rid of both loans. So right here, these cancel each other out and I'd be losing this cash too. So I'm better off holding on to my loans and taking the $7 penalty on each one. But it wasn't a very good end turn for me getting the $30. If I wanted to ship or anything else, I would have had to pay food as well. I didn't have food on hand. Obviously, I didn't want to grab a bunch of food because then that would be my action. You might argue, well, why don't you grab this? Well, because this is worth 30 and this is worth 6 and then 7 for the additional loan. Had I grabbed the extra money though, I could kill the extra loan, so maybe that would still be worthwhile. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6. I'd have $4 left and no loans, which means I would have made a gain of $18. Here, I've got like 33, but 14 in loans. It's worth like 19 instead of 18. So this was actually the better deal. So I'll keep with this. And you can see that kind of minute optimization for $1. Well, that would be going over all the different processes. You'd have to look at every single card. Obviously, nobody's going to do that. But the problem is you do have to look over every single card to be aware of what you might have. I guess I'll have to count my victory points at this point. We're just going to be counting buildings, ships, any bonuses on anything, cash, and then the payment for loans. I'll spreadsheet this all out just so that you have something. Nobody went and bought the storehouse. That might have been... Well, see, here's the thing. If that was a good deal, because you're not allowed to buy it at this round, so nobody was allowed to. But if that had been a good deal, well, maybe this would have been a good deal to use. But this would be nice if you had a good shipment. So who had a good shipment? Red had a pretty damn good shipment and a lot of crap left over. He could have collected a lot of points off this, probably more than the $10 that he would have paid for it. Certainly more than the effort to build this crap would have been, given that it gives extra victory points and such. But, you know, there was this race for ships and everything at the end. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, some of my impressions were correct. So Blue, I felt, did a kind of cool thing with that big loan onloading and building lots of buildings. Unfortunately, their late game, they really sucked ass. No shipping, and they really they kind of got unable to focus on following a path, on using that cash advantage that I think they had at one point to turn into something really great. When I boiled it all out, they came to 120, which sounded like a pretty decent score, especially after I looked at red. Hey, you know, less buildings, a little bit more cash. Okay, buildings are real important. However, when I got to green, the guy who made the big shipping thing, decent building holdings actually. He was able to build up some valuable stuff and then turned around and a nicer cash holding. And he ended up getting the victory. Purple had a very exciting building holding, mainly because of, I'm counting the ships in with buildings. You know, they're all the same thing. But really, in a sense, your focus on ships is a long-term focus to build up your position to buy those ships rather than buying initial buildings. So in a way, they're kind of a different thing. But anyway, his score of stuff he had by following that shipping program. But his loan issue, he got himself in trouble. Just like Blue got himself in trouble with not really having, you know, a good vision for the end of the game. This guy got himself in trouble for not managing his money at the end of the game very well. And that's because there's so much you need to do right at the end. So if you start getting into cash flow problems there, or food flow problems, as his case was, that caused all of this, it's going to penalize you. So a huge 136 points there, but negative points in cash puts him into third place, actually. White was nice and solid, was able to make a good delivery at the end and ended up with a fairly good score. Just didn't beat out red, and really the difference there is the difference in the buildings that they were able to get early on. They both have pretty good shipping, a steel ship and a wooden ship. I'm not sure if my game dragged on too much in the early stages. That's when I read the rules, that's the feeling that I get, that I'm not playing it right, that the boats didn't come out soon enough, that they should have been cranking more quickly. I know in 2 players I had the same damn problem, though. I couldn't figure out how to get boats early, how to get ahead of my food problem at all times. Now, you have other things. So you have more actions in the 2-player game or a 3-player game. So, I guess it's okay that you're constantly scrambling for food. But the impression I got from the rules is different from what I got from playing. And I'm not that leads me to wonder, okay, are the rules giving me a false impression? It's possible. Or am I just playing it wrong, like I did with Go for so many years, where I just don't get what the game is about, and I'm missing something that I can do, not in terms of the rules, but just in terms of, utilizing the pieces and the rules in a reasonable fashion. Maybe there's some big jump that I'm not seeing, which wouldn't be shocking either, given that, I've played it very little. Solo, this thing is a nightmare. But I'll tell you the truth, I think I'd have just about as much trouble. I'd have a very similar kind of problem playing it in opposed circumstances. The game played really, really well for about the first half, maybe a little less than that, of the cycles. Which to me means, hey, I'd be pretty happy with the short game, but I didn't get to boats in the short game, and I wouldn't have gotten there. When my wife and I were playing, I don't think we had much in the way of boats. I had a couple of wooden ships, and we were about halfway through. And kind of the same kind of position here. You just don't feel like you're really running a shipping industry in the same way. Now, the ships, you're running, control of the warehouses. No connection to the story whatsoever. And again, I'll go into a lot of this when I hit the review. I like to throw a little bit of that in the wrap. It's really hard to say if I've learned anything about strategy. One of the problems with playing a game like this is if I play it opposed, I'm probably not going to learn too much. Playing opposed is more a social occasion for me, and playing it solitaire, I'm finding myself just, my God, there's all these little wheels turning, and none of them, there's nothing to link them together in a really sensible manner to me. Unlike, say, 18XX, which clicked immediately for me. Now, maybe not all XXs, but when I lay out almost any XX, and some of that's familiarity with the system, of course, but when I lay out an XX from the very beginning, it was obvious. I want my stocks to increase. I see how to do that. That's very easy. Very, very simple principle running through the game. There may be some special things having to do with the miners or private companies or anything like that that kind of, skew stuff. But this, every one of these little cards is a special ability, right? It's a game by special ability. For me, that's cool when I'm playing, say, Cosmic Encounter, and I have a hand, the old one, not the new one, folks. Where is it? I have the craziest CE. I have the, I don't know, I may not have even brought it up. No, there it is. I have the last Eon edition of the base game, and only the base game. But I've played the full thing in multiple different versions. I played the Mayfair and the original with the full thing. And certainly with the original, there's just this, tremendous chaos of opportunities there. But it's not all laid out in front of you so you see every single thing that's there. You got a little handful of cards, you got some memories of what people probably have in their hand as to permanent flares, which of course went away after the first edition, after the Eon game. But that's the only one I was really interested in getting. And it's, maybe there's a small tableau of pieces of information out there, the special powers, if each person has like 3 special powers, that adds some complexity. But nothing like this, where there's, 40 cards out on the table that are all special abilities. So this is a game you only can kind of become competent at through experience, I think, which is something that I think Eurogamers like. I'm getting into the review shit here. All right, let's send this up.